Down, the battle cruisers and Vikings coming forward. Seeker missiles killing all the Vikings. Oh my goodness, that was insane. I don't even know what to think about that. Huge.
Welcome, everyone. This is the ISTL Week 2. I'm Joker casting with Vindicare. Vindicare, what's going on, buddy?
What is up, Joker? Dude, today is going to be so amazing, man.
Dude, so today, fellas, we're going to have Western Wolves, who is the defending ISTL Season 2 champs today, and they're going to be taking on Rip Zeez. We're going to have quite the matchup tonight. I do know that Western Wolves is not going to have Sort of, which is one of, if not their top player, but their squad is deep, man. I'm sure they're going to be all right. But Rip Zeez is going to be trying to take out the defending champs, man. You think they can do it?
I don't know, Joker. They looked pretty good in the last series. They did the last series that I saw of them. They did fall to Multitude Gaming, but they definitely put up their fair share of really strong games. But can they compete with Western Wolves, though? That is the big question of the night. Now, Western Wolves, guys, does not have a very large roster. In fact, they only have 5 active members on their Liquipedia page. But just look at these, listen to these names: Zictomini, Sort of, Starnan, Fargo, Mini, multiple round of 32ers at DreamHack. These guys are intense. They are our defending champions. They deserve a little bit more of an introduction today just because we have not yet seen them in the ISTL. And how are they going to come out today, Joker? Are they going to come out strong, ready to defend their title?
I think so. They're going to come out guns a-blaze. And, yeah, like Vindicare said, guys, Western Wolves did have a bye the first round, so this is going to be their first game of the ISTL Season 3. And, you know, they got to set the bar. They're the team that won it last year. They got to set the bar high. They got to come out with a big win right now. And Rip Zeez is going to come and try to make a statement. So, you know, it'd be pretty awesome if Rip Zeez can take these guys because, you know, if they can, that's really showing that they're going to be a contender for the, you know, the top spot in this season. So that's going to be really fun. And like Vindicare also said, guys, Western Wolves, they have some players that have been that have broken into the pro scene, like Zictomini, like Sort of. So, you know, they're gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be some awesome games tonight, Vindicare. We've actually had some all of our games in the ISTL so far. I think all but one, I believe, has gone to a Game 7. So, I mean, they're close, guys. These teams are all neck and neck, really strong contenders, and I hope we also get a really good series tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it, Joker. I mean, even the last season of ISTL was amazing by itself. But, I mean, we had a lot of blowouts. There was a lot of 4-2s, a lot of 4-0s, 4-1s, that sort of thing. But, I mean, this season so far, 3 out of the 4 series have been 7-game series, and a lot of the Game 7s have actually been really close, too. It's nuts. Like, Impulse versus Area 51, I was on the edge of my seat at the end there. The last Protoss versus Protoss series, I think that was MXG versus I think that was actually MXG versus Zeez, or maybe one of the last Protoss versus Protoss Game 7 that I saw on Shakura's Plateau, that came down to one engagement, and the difference was like a single Colossus. Like, that's how close these series have been, guys. I don't know if I'm going to expect this series to be as close, but, right. I mean, at this point, you got to give these teams the benefit of the doubt. Every single one of these teams is competitive. They all want to win, and they all have very strong players capable of doing so.
Absolutely. You said it. Yeah, I remember watching that PvP that you were talking about. It had featured Remark. He barely won for his MXG, and he was actually the MVP of Season 1. MXG did not make it into Season 2. They had a little bit of clan difficulties. A couple guys left and stuff like that, so they couldn't get it all together. But now they're back strong as ever in Season 3. So that's another team we definitely have to watch out for. Is MXG. They're tough. They got second in Season 1, just short of NMX. They're good, though, man. They're really good.
I hadn't had a chance to see them yet, Joker, and then I got to see them in that long series on Sunday, and yeah, they're definitely good. But the thing is that like I can't even say, oh, MXG is good and Ripsies is not good, or Area 50 was. I can't say any of the teams are good or any of them are not good because they're all really good. Like we're not just trying to hype this up because we're trying to like feign like this has been competitive. This has actually been a lot more competitive than I think any of us have expected so far. But that's obviously raising the expectations a little bit for these upcoming series, Joker. So I'm a little nervous about whether or not these series are going to be able to deliver, but that at the same time, I'm very confident that they will also.
Yeah, we're gonna hopefully one time in this season we're gonna have an all kill. There's got to be. I mean, it's gonna be so tough, like you said, because all these teams are so close. But it's gonna happen. Some guy's gonna come out and just start stomping people. But yeah, like you said earlier, this has been one of the most exciting seasons, man. Like when it was Impulse, my team. Versus Area 51, we were pretty nervous because our team was kind of, we were just getting a bunch of new guys. A couple guys got sharked from some other teams and stuff, so we were just getting a new roster together, trying to get stuff organized. And Area 51 has been, a renowned team for quite a while. People know them, and we were pretty nervous. We're like, oh man, we don't want to get stomped our first match, but Impulse came out and we took it, man, and it was intense. You were casting it. I was at my house pulling my hair out in that last game. We saw Hydra's Vindy's favorite unit. If you guys don't know, Hydralists are Vindy's favorite unit. If you ever see Hydras, you just look at Vindy's face. He'll be smiling. But yeah, Hydras in the last game 7, I was like, oh my god, what is happening? And Stoke Regret took it for us, so I was pretty excited.
That's I'm just a fan of any old Brood War unit that's been able to transfer over. Not quite the Marine as much, because I know that like people like see it all the time. They kind of get bored of it. But like all of the Brood War units that you don't get to see as much of, I love it when I get to see them again. So like I love it when I see battle cruisers, carriers, hydralists. Oh, yeah. It's all real good stuff.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I had something important to say. Definitely forgot it. So, looks like we're going.
Oh, I do. I have something to say, Joker. If you guys if you guys are just joining us, this is your first day for the ISTL, and you're wondering about all of these games that we've been talking about, gkick.net has a really, really nice wrap up of Season 1. If you don't feel like watching all the games, you can find that on their YouTube channel, I believe. But you can also find it on Impulse Esports YouTube channel also. So we are actually finishing up with the loading process. So we're actually just going to get into game number 1. It is, of course, going to be on WCS Cloud Kingdom because all game number 1s in the ISTL are on WCS Cloud Kingdom. And and I didn't even get a chance to see what players are playing. This is going to be sick, Joker.
I got a chance to peek at them real quick. Why don't you introduce them up, though, Vindy?
All right. Well, for our team Ripsies, we have our red Protoss player spawning down here in the bottom left corner. Can he take this crucial game 1 for his team? He is Ripsies Vouge.
All right, in the top right, as the blue Protoss, we are going to have Western Wolf Starnan running under the tag INFS Starnan. Used to be on Team Infused, now on Team Western Wolves. So we're going to have a PvP here on Cloud Kingdom. Vouge, I don't know if he's under another account or not, but we have not yet seen him play in the ISTL. Zeez did play. They lost their first match, but Vouge did not see playtime. So we'll see if he's out here to possibly snipe or try to get a quick win or what. But yeah, he definitely was not in their roster on the first match. So it's going to be pretty exciting to watch him play.
And Joker, I would imagine that he was probably not able to play for some external reasons. It's one of the things that makes semi-professional esports a little bit different than the pro scene, is that attendance is always something that kind of gets called into question. And it's not even that bad. Like, people have to work jobs and stuff too. These guys don't get paid enough to support themselves playing StarCraft yet. So I would imagine that like he had to miss the first game. He saw his team barely lose, but like put up a really good fight. And you know, I bet he is motivated as hell coming out into this first game. I bet you he volunteered. He was like, "We're going against Western Wolves. They're a really strong team. I didn't get to play on Sunday. I want to play today." I can very, very sure that's actually what's happening.
I like that. He's going to be firing right out the gate. Now PvP. Vindy, you might have to shed some light on some PvP tactics. We've seen a lot of Stargate play lately, you know, a lot of Phoenix openings and stuff, but, you know, I haven't seen a whole lot of PvP games lately, so we're going to have to see what these guys do open up. Looks like they open up just about the same. Actually, no, Starnan just now dropping out a little bit later of a Cybercore here, but, and yeah, actually, you know, Vouge does have an extra probe in the gas, which is actually going to slow him down quite a bit in these early stages of the game. You can't be missing probes like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, if in Heart of the Swarm, you won't need to worry about that because it has like your worker count like over the Nexus and that sort of thing. But to go back to your original question, Joker, Cloud Kingdom historically has been a map that really supports a lot of Blink Stalker play. There's a very good reason why. There's a cliff that leads in from the third base into the main base, and that position is very easy to abuse with Blink Stalkers, especially in Protoss versus Protoss. So I've seen a lot of Blink Stalker play on this map, but I've seen a lot of counter Blink Stalker play too. A lot of early Immortal builds, that sort of thing. We actually have a pylon that was actually being dropped in the mineral line for Vouge by Starnan. I think he was just throwing it there just to kind of delay his opponent's mineral income. And ooh, Joker, we also have a cancel on that gas. Does that mean we're going to see a very early Nexus, or are we actually? We might actually see additional gateways, but it does look like this is going to be a really early Nexus coming out here for Vouge.
Yeah, at first I was looking at that. I wondered if he was trying to fake him out, but it ended up that Starnan didn't even see that get put down. And Starnan actually has a really early Twilight Council here, over here on his side, but it does get scouted by Vouge. So,
ooh, look at this, Joker. Okay, I can see what Vouge is actually doing at this point. If you'll notice, this is going to be a 4-gate, but this is kind of a weird way to do it. He's dropping down his gateways now, so these gateways are not going to be done by the time that Warp Gate is done, I believe. I might be a little bit wrong about that, but what he's trying to do is he's trying to make sure that he has map control with this Zealot and with this Stalker, so that Starnan won't get to see this pylon being dropped, and he's hoping that he'll actually be able to take his opponent by surprise. Now, back in the day, 4 gates never used to take you by surprise because they were so common, but these days in Protoss versus Protoss, they're a little bit less common. But look at Starnan. He was able to get this pro back into the main base of Vouge, so he knows this is coming for sure. He's even dropping a pylon in the main base of Vouge, so that even if Vouge wants to go on offense with these 4 gates, that pylon will force him to lead to warp in additional troops back home, because otherwise Starnan's going to be warping in troops right into Vouge main.
Absolutely, that's a really good observation right there, Vinny. And it looks like Vouge is warping in a few Stalkers down here in the front of Starnan's base. Starnan does have 2 sentries at the top, so it's going to be pretty hard to break. Dropping 2 pylons down here on the low ground, so if Vouge can get up there through that choke, and he can start warping in on the high ground. But I don't think Starnan's going to let him do it right now with the big force field. Going to focus down a few of these Stalkers right away. Zealot doing a lot of DPS, killing some Stalkers. Oh, and Vouge trying to sneak his Stalkers around to try to warp into the high ground. But Starnan not letting him do that right now, and Vouge is in terrible position. I think Starnan's going to be able to hold this. Blink is going to be finishing up here very short. And that is GG from Vouge. Starnan, really good scout, really good execution, good defense to the top of the ramp, and that's a wrap on that.
Dude, Joker, there were Zealots being warped into the main base of Vouge. There were 4 Zealots, actually, and though that decision by Starnan to go for that pylon in the main, it was so brilliant. Why? Because that pylon, if it was right in Vouge's face, like Vouge totally knew it was there, but what it did is it forced him to make the decision of, are you going to pull back and deal with this pylon, or are you going to push anyway and force a base race scenario? Like that was just a really solid strategy by Starnan. Like, what a way to kind of like take what your opponent's doing and kind of shove it back in his face. Like, I don't see moves like that very often, and that was definitely a very strong, very decisive move by Starnan. So he is going to put Team Western Wolves up to a very quick 1-0. That game was only 7 minutes and 22 seconds long, so we are going to be moving right into game number 2 in just a little bit. But I can't get over how strong Starnan looked in that Protoss versus Protoss. Like, he was in complete control, and a lot of it might have had to do with the fact that, like, 4 gates aren't as viable as they used to be. But I mean, still, that was just a dominating performance.
Yeah, he's a confident player, man. This guy's been around with that perfect scout, like you said, from that probe, dropping that pylon, an excellent play, and being able to micro those zealots and also deny Vouge from being able to get that position to warp into the high ground in his own base, man. That just shows, these guys are top levels, especially these Western Wolf players right now. They're definitely on top of their game. They're going to be really tough to take out. I'm excited to see who Zeez tries to send out next against this heavy-hitting Protoss, man.
Well, Ripsies does have a very balanced, very deep lineup, as a matter of fact. They have on their site listed 3 Protoss players, 2 Zerg players, and 4 Terrans. Now, I think in the last series, we got to see a lot of JJH. Now, JJH is a very heavy mech player. He gave Ripsies 2 wins in their last series. So I don't think we're going to be seeing much of him, just because, at least not yet, because he's probably one of the players you want to use to snipe maybe a Zerg or a Terran out. And Ripsies had a little bit of trouble with Protoss in the last series too, so I'm a little concerned about how they're actually going to deal with Starnan. I mean, he has such a strong PvP like we just saw. Are they confident that they might be able to send out another Protoss against him? Both their ace players are actually Protoss, their captain and their ace. I think we might even see one of their ace. I think we might see their ace pretty early, as a matter of fact, just because I don't know who else they really have that could deal with a this strong of a Protoss this early in the match.
Right, and you definitely don't want to get too deep in the hole here on these clan wars, because once you start getting behind, the other team can start doing a little bit more gimmicky tactics and stuff, because they have that breathing room. So it would be a good decision probably to send out a tough guy now. You definitely don't want to get too down. Then you got to start worrying. So. It could be Zugs. It could be JJH. We'll see, man. I'm pretty excited. See who they got on. Also, they also have a guy named, is it Jimmy? Jimmy? How do you say that name?
They do have Jimmy. I'm just going to call him Jimmy because I don't want to try and embarrass myself with the meh that's in there.
Jimmy.
I am not Canadian. I cannot pull the meh off as well as other people might. But he was sent out last time to deal with... trying to remember the Protoss player, but he fell to him on Antigua Shipyard to a blink all-in. But he was their choice last time for dealing with Protoss, so we'll have to see if they actually stick to that philosophy that Jimmy is their go-to Terran player against Protoss. But real quick, guys, we wanted to give a